tooth in your head. Oh, sweetness, sweetness, I was only joking when I said by rights you should be bludgeoned in your bed. And now I know how Joan of Arc felt. Now I know how Joan of Arc felt. As the flames rose to a Roman nose and her Walkman started to melt.
All right guys, exciting news. Our Frameworks Enduro frames are finally up for sale. This Enduro bike has been an idea that's been in the background the whole time since we started the Frameworks project. I ride Enduro bikes a lot. I've always wanted to put my twist on the best Enduro bike for the trails that I like to ride. I did a video last month with all the geometry and kinematics of these bikes. So if you want every little detail, you can hop in there and watch that last video. I'd say the overall goal of the bike was something that was stable at speed. It gives you the confidence to push hard. It's predictable, and the predictability comes through the geometry of the bike. It handles really well the faster you go. I find that the rider can account for the more technical, gnarly terrain as long as the bike gives them that stability. As someone who rides a downhill bike as often as I do, nothing quite feels the same when you're hitting the descents. But for enduro riding, you want something that gives you that same level of comfort on a bike that you can pedal to the top of the hill. And getting there can be pretty technical and pretty steep single track climbs. So the bike is no compromise for the descents, but makes it a little bit easier to access those trails as far as the seat post angle. The geometry for climbing, I would say, makes it just a little bit easier to get there. These bikes use a new construction technique we've been working on. They have kind of a lug and tube design, but with a welded joint, something that's been tried and true by Frank the Welder with all of our Frameworks bikes. They're 6061 T6 aluminum, and it's pretty cool how we have three main parts of the frame connected by laser cut tubes. The head tube lug, the BB lug, they're pretty substantial one-piece CNC'd parts that capture a lot of our points in one part, and that makes the frames more precise and just easier to build. And then there's a rocker pivot mount that also acts as a joint between the top tube and seat tube. So 3 CNC parts and 3 tubes. It's pretty simple and easy to make, which makes them more accurate and more precise and more repeatable. We'll be selling the frame with 3 shock options, similar to what we did with our downhill bikes. The shocks are all tuned specifically for this frame. My preference was the Fox Float X. We've been working with Fox on their monotube shocks all season with our downhill bikes, so we're pretty familiar with the tuning process. And we spent a couple weeks actually getting the tune right for this enduro bike. And the Float X just offered more adjustability for the riders. It's just so nice to add 1 or 2 PSI. If you really want to fine tune it, you can add a volume spacer. There's just a higher chance that the rider is going to get a better setup with the air shock than with the coil shock. And with the tune that we chose, the performance was equal after a ton of back-to-back riding. It's actually nice to have a bike. If you want to take it to the bike park, you can run the shock a little bit stiffer and put more air in it. And if you're riding out in the national forests, riding a little bit slower speed trails, you can run the shock with a little bit more sag and kind of optimize it for whatever ride you're going on. We also work with RockShox to come up with a vivid air tune for this bike. Spent a lot of time on that shock, really nice, a lot of adjustment there. If RockShox is your preference, that shock will come with a Frameworks tune in it specific to this bike. And then with Öhlins, we're offering the TTX coil. Öhlins shocks are really well made, really high quality products. And their coil shock, if you're after a coil, if you're just someone out there who wants a coil, that shock has a lot of adjustability, a lot of support, and works really well with our bike. So 3 awesome shock options. Put a lot of work into making sure that the rider had the best experience when they got the bike, and all that time we put into these tunes, I think you guys will feel when you ride the frames. Our pre-sales will be open for the next month. We have the ability to make 100 frames at this batch. It's more efficient to make them in one go than made to order. So we're open in pre-sales for a month. From there, we'll be able to make frames for the first 100 people. And if 100 people didn't fill every build slot by the end of September, we're gonna have to close it at that point to get the frames going. They'll then be delivered sometime before the end of the year. We're shooting for mid-December, but we'll keep everyone updated as to how that's progressing. Another big value add is Worldwide Cyclery. They've been a partner of mine for many years. They sponsored me even before the Frameworks project and from day one on this. They are offering complete build kits, and if you buy a build kit from Worldwide, they will build your bike for you for no charge. So we'll send them the frame, they'll completely build it and send you a complete bike. We have 3 recommended kits, a SRAM GX kit, a Shimano XT kit, and then a Team Replica kit, which is basically exactly what you see here, how we ride the bikes. And then the cool thing with it being non-OEM is if there's something that you want to customize on your bike, you can totally do that. These are just recommended parts packages that if you don't want to think too much, we put a lot of thought into what parts we were speccing, best value adds, and those build sheets are a good place to start. But if you want to build your bike the way that you want it, you can go to them, send them an email, call them. They'll be happy to talk through it with you and get you a completely custom build kit. I think that just about covers it. If there's anything we missed in this video, shoot us an email, info@rideframeworks.com, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Also, if you're able to sign up for our newsletter, I write them all myself, and we email out pretty cool information about all of our projects. And anyway, thank you guys for watching the video. Thanks for all the support, and we'll keep on doing cool stuff.